got some good news for you. We've been analysing the pace compared to our rivals, and it looks like we'll be very competitive. Keep up the good work.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode here for round 14 of season 2. It is, of course, the Singapore Grand Prix, and what you're seeing on screens right now is the development comparison amongst the other teams. So currently we are above the Williams team, but we're just a little bit further off the Force India. So hopefully with a few updates we can catch up to those guys. But in the background you're just seeing the R&D objectives going through at the moment. But of course, if you have missed any of the previous episodes of this series, go catch up with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens. You will find the previous episode at the Italian Grand Prix, and of course the whole entire playlist as well if you guys are new around here. And of course, if you are new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. But like I said before, here we are at the Singapore Grand Prix, going through the practice programs at the moment, trying to get as many resource points as we possibly can to better ourselves across the rest of the season, because of course we need to make a few more upgrades to try and catch up to the Force India team, ending that FP2 session P5 at the end of the day. So that's really, really good news, setting us up very nicely for the qualifying session as well, as we come through the final corner once more, this time around with the race objective, getting a purple score, making it 4 purple results and 1 green, which we're very, very happy with as well. Lots of resource points collected over the whole entire race weekend, finishing FP3 in P10, so very happy with that. But that's going to end the practice sessions. Let's see what we can do in qualifying.
It's late in the evening here in Singapore and it's time for qualifying, so settle down and enjoy the action.
It's qualifying time here at the Singapore Grand Prix as we come around the final corner for my one and only lap in Q1. Of course, it was very easy to get into the Q2 session. A nice lap there puts us in P9 at 140.8, and we'll be looking to improve on that over the course of the rest of the weekend. But the question is, what can we do in Q2? Q2 is going to be a little bit more difficult because the midfield are so closely compacted. But here we go, round the final corner once again, across line, setting the fastest lap so far, but a 141.1. Will that be good enough? Yes, it was. P9 at the end of the day, going through as well with Fernando Alonso. Esteban Ocon being knocked out there, so not a good day for one of the Force India drivers. But we are in to the top 10 shootout. So here we go. First lap in this top 10 shootout, round the final corner once more, down towards the line to 140.231. A good lap at the end of the day here, but it's not perfect. We can find more time, and here we are, 3 tenths up on the previous best lap time, round the final corner once more in P7 at the moment in the standings. Was the time going to be good enough for? Unfortunately, it doesn't move us up the standings, but it does move us further up in terms of lap time. So a good lap there, 3 attempts quicker than our previous best lap time. But unfortunately, because we weren't the last person across the line, Nico Hulkenberg got the better of us at the end of the day, and he is qualified ahead of us in P7. So good job there by my teammate. But running through the order very quickly, Sebastian Vettel qualifies in pole position for today's race, with Valtteri Bottas in 2nd, Lewis Hamilton 3rd, Kimi Räikkönen 4th, Daniel Ricciardo 5th, Max Verstappen 6th. That's my teammate Nico Hulkenberg in 7th, with myself in 8th. Sergio Perez 9th, getting the better of the Force India there, so very happy with that. And Fernando Alonso, really good qualifying session there for the McLaren driver, rounding out the top 10. But that rounds out the qualifying session for the Singapore Grand Prix. The question is, what can we do in the race from P8? Can we get another top 5 finish here at the Singapore Grand Prix? Let's find out as we head over to the race.
As the drivers complete their preparations, down below us on the grid, one man who's no stranger to the pre-race pressure is Anthony Davidson, who joins me in the commentary box today. Great to have you with us, Ant. I'm sure you can tell us all about what goes through a driver's head before lights out.
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
It's race day here at the Singapore Grand Prix, but before we get into that, let's take a look at the starting order for today's race. Sebastian Vettel lines up in pole position with Valtteri Bottas in 2nd. Then on the 2nd row of today's grid, we have Lewis Hamilton 3rd and Kimi Räikkönen 4th. Further down the field then, Daniel Ricciardo lines up P5 with Verstappen in 6th. Then Nico Hulkenberg is in 7th with myself in 8th. Sergio Perez qualifies in 9th with Alonso 10th. Felipe Massa is in 11th with Esteban Ocon 12th, Grosjean 13th, Kvyat 14th with Carlos Sainz 15th, then Stroll's in 16th, Van Dorn 17th with Pascal Wehrlein 18th, Marcus Ericsson in 19th, and Kevin Magnussen right at the back of the field after a penalty has put him down there. Right, let's have a look at the race strategy for today, starting on a set of Ultra Softs, then going on to another set of Ultra Softs, and finally ending today's race on Super Soft. But of course, that may not be the strategy, as the safety car is very likely around here, so that could throw a spanner into the works. But let's head down to the grid for today's race and get the race underway as we get a 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix. It is lights out and away we go. It's a good start compared to my teammate of Nico Hülkenberg on the right hand side as we go down in towards turn 1. We're going to brake late compared to Max Verstappen. A little bit of a lock up as we thought we were actually going to go into the back of the Red Bull driver, easing it up the inside through turn 3, squeezing out Nico Hülkenberg on the exit, and there we go, job done on my teammate. Moving up into P7 for today's race is Hülkenberg getting absolutely sandwiched down in towards that turn 5 then. I think both drivers have got the job done. Yes, they have. The Force India of Sergio Perez and Felipe Massa getting the job done on Nico Hülkenberg there, as we now cut ahead to lap 6 of today's race. Not a lot happening in the opening few laps, of course, just trying to keep up with Max Verstappen, who has had a problem here at the Singapore Grand Prix. There's a mechanical issue once again for Max Verstappen. If you remember last time at the Italian Grand Prix, of course, he did have a mechanical issue there as well, and it looks like it struck him once more as he is out of today's race. We're cutting it now to lap 7 on board with Pascal Wehrlein. Now, is this going to be another mechanical issue for the Sauber driver? Yes, it is. A big old engine blowout there for Pascal Wehrlein. I mean, it doesn't really affect anybody out on track. He's right at the back of the field, so nobody's going to be really worried about that, especially not myself, because I'm certainly, well, I shouldn't be battling with Pascal Wehrlein in today's race. But nevertheless, unfortunately, Wehrlein is out of today's race, and that does bring out the virtual safety cars. It looks like one of the Force Indias has come into the pits. I've now got Felipe Massa right on my tail here on lap 8 of today's race. So far, it's been a pretty good race from ourselves, currently running in P6 at the moment after Max Verstappen had that DNF. But of course, there's still a long way left to go. Long way left to go in this race, and of course, the virtual safety car is going to help anybody who has just come into the pits there and then, as we're now ending lap 8, starting lap 9. A few more drivers coming into the pits, and that moves me up into P2 for the time being in today's race. Cutting ahead now, though, to lap 9 of the Singapore Grand Prix. It looks like it's our turn, which it is, to make a pit stop in today's race. Of course, starting on the Ultra Soft tyres. I think we're going to go for a set of Super Softs and then go for a set of Ultra Softs right at the end of the race. So we're going to switch up our strategy a little bit. Hopefully, this doesn't come back to bite me at the end of the race. But anyway, into the pit stop we come here today. The Renault crew, of course, we want a very, very quick pit stop from them. 2 seconds. 2 second stop there from the Renault crew. What a very quick pit stop that was. And unfortunately, there's my teammate Nico Hülkenberg and the Force India of Sergio Perez getting the better of me here today. Of course, those drivers made an early pit stop when the virtual safety car came out. Unfortunately, I was unable to make that pit stop then, because of course I had to wait a lot longer before I came into the pits, because I was on this alternative strategy. So I'm going a lot longer in this race than those guys, but Perez is on the Super Soft tyres, so we can only expect that he's going for another set of Super Soft tyres at the end of the race. We're cutting ahead another lap later in today's race. Got some more drivers coming into the pits at the moment, including Felipe Massa there on the left-hand side. So I'm going to get the job done on him and move up into P11, running it very wide there on the final corner, but another driver into the pits, so that should move me up another position in today's race, which it does, up into P10. We've got Felipe Massa right on our tail, as he is currently on the Ultra Soft tyres here today. Another driver into the pits now, though, here on lap 13, so we're now slowly moving back up into a good points-paying position. But we need to get past these drivers who, of course, are on the alternative strategies, and, of course, Sergio Perez and Nico Hülkenberg to get back where we were, which was P6. We're now cutting ahead to lap 16 in today's race. Watching on board with Valtteri Bottas. He's coming under a bit of pressure now from the likes of the Red Bull and the Ferrari of Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel at the moment. There's a yellow flag, and Valtteri Bottas pulls over to the right-hand side, and unfortunately for him, he is out of today's race after running in a very solid second place here today. And that's brought out the safety car, in fact. So there's Valtteri Bottas on the right-hand side. We're having to slow down for that safety car limiter because we were actually going a bit too quickly for our own liking, because we're more focused on the strategy change. Of course, we're not really going to take that sort of drastic strategy change. I don't believe that I'm going to be able to take a set of ultra soft tyres all the way to the end of the race. What I would have liked to have done was go on a set of super soft tyres all the way to the end, but unfortunately we didn't have any super soft tyres available to us, so we had to go on a set of soft tyres if we decide to come into the pit. So we're just having to wait and see, deciding whether I want to go for a set of soft tyres or pit later on in the race, even though I was expected to come into the pits on about lap 20 or something like that. So we do decide to come into the pits at the end of the day. Of course, you know, we are getting sort of a free pit stop at the moment. We come into the pit lane going onto a set of soft tyres, but unfortunately Nico Hülkenberg is also into the pits on this lap, so we might be held up by the crew unless they can get Hülkenberg away ahead of us, which they do, but unfortunately just having to wait a little bit longer as the team sort of reshuffle, get the tyres ready, and then put them on my car. And unfortunately that means it's a 4-second stop here at the Singapore Grand Prix, but I feel like I would have lost a lot more time if I decide to go for a different strategy, wait through that safety car. I know I would have been in a good position, I would have had race position over everybody else, but I still would have had to make a pit stop, whereas a lot of other drivers wouldn't have had to do that. So I feel like this was the best thing to do, come into the pits, gain that extra 2 seconds, and unfortunately I have come out behind Felipe Massa, but there is still a long way left to go in this race, and there's still going to be a lot of opportunities to overtake the Williams driver. As the safety car is now coming into the pits here on lap 18 of today's race. What can we do on Felipe Massa? It's not a good safety car restart from ourselves, but like I said, there's still a long way left to go in this race, so there is still every opportunity to get past them, especially as the other drivers ahead of us will also be having a nice little battle as well. So here we go, down in towards turn 1, 2 and 3, managing to catch up quite a bit there to Felipe Massa through turn 3, losing the back end though massively on the exit of that corner. That's really going to cost us down in towards turn 5. And unfortunately, yeah, we're not able to get the job done on Felipe Massa just yet. We're not close enough really to benefit from any slipstream as well. Down in towards turn 7, through the kink of turn 6, in towards turn 7. Under braking, having a little look though on Felipe Massa. We actually did close up quite a bit on the Williams driver. Now up the inside, down in towards this right handing, having a little look there on Sergio Perez, losing the back end again, and a little bit of contact there with the Williams of Felipe Massa, giving him the room on the left hand side. He's got the inside line, it's going to be so much quicker down this straight in towards the Singapore sling, but can we hold it around the outside through the left hand? We're still holding on with Massa there, but we finally managed to get the job done on the Williams driver, and we hold on to P10. A great overtake there on the Williams driver, moving up into the point-paying positions. And now that puts me right on the back of Sergio Perez, who is in fact on a different strategy to ourselves. He's on the super soft tyres, so of course he's going to be quicker. So is Hülkenberg, but they're all getting held up by Danny Kvyat, who I believe does have a problem in today's race. So whilst all these drivers are getting held up by the Toro Rosso driver, this is my opportunity to get past them and move up into P6 for today's race. The yellow flag has come out. I'm not too sure what that's for the Williams driver of Lance Stroll. Not a good day there for Lance Stroll. 19 laps of the Singapore Grand Prix, and unfortunately his car has given up on him. So very disappointing there for the Canadian driver of Lance Stroll. But again, it's not really going to affect our own race, even though he was 1 place behind Felipe Massa at the end of the day. But really, it's not really going to affect my own races. So Hülkenberg and Perez go side by side through turn 2 and 3 there. That's going to give us maybe an opportunity to go for an overtake in towards turn 5, but unfortunately just no room, so I decided to back out of it and sort of give this opportunity to follow in the slipstream and maybe have a look down in towards turn 7. Still holding off on the back of these two drivers, very close through the little kink there of turn 6. Nearly a bit of contact between two of them as we have a little look there up the inside of Sergio Perez. Very good on the exit though, round the outside, maybe in towards this 90-degree right-hander contact between the two of us. We're going to have the inside line through the left and down towards the Singapore sling. Still side by side between myself and the Mexican driver. Up the inside, maybe into the Singapore sling. Very late on the brakes, but too late as we overshoot the corner, and a great switchback maneuver that was from Sergio Perez to move back up into P9. Very nice battle there with Sergio Perez, but this battle is continuing at the moment. We just need to get past them as soon as possible, because once they get past Danny Kvyat, it's going to be very difficult to overtake these guys on super soft tyres. We're going to go for another opportunity here on lap 20 of the Singapore Grand Prix, 21 in fact, as it looks like they're going for an overtake on Danny Kvyat. Carlos Sainz on the right hand side as we go up the inside of Sergio Perez. A bit of a dive bomb move from ourselves up the inside through turn 3. Can we do anything on the Force India drivers? Sainz has got past Danny Kvyat, but I feel like that Toro Rosso is also going to be slow here today. Perez on the right-hand side through turn 5, trying to squeeze him out as much as we possibly can, but he's having none of it. He's very aggressive at the moment. He's got the job done. He's come back at us, and so has Nico Hülkenberg, gone for the overtake on Danny Kvyat, having a little look once again up the inside of Sergio Perez through the left-hander of turn 7, now down towards turn 8. What can we do once again on Sergio Perez? Really nice battling happening between the two of us at the moment. Inside line once more. Will we learn from our mistake down in towards the Singapore Sling? We look like we are in a better position this time around, but that straight line speed from Sergio Perez allows him to come back at us, but much better under braking this time around, allows us to get the job done as Perez once again has another look, one final little shot in the dark up the inside, but unfortunately for him, we snuff him out, we stop him from going for the overtake, and we hold on to P9. Now right on the back of Danny Kvyat, can we get the job done in towards the next corner? Of course, this driver is very slow under braking, and there we go, job done surely on Danny Kvyat, squeezing him out on the exit of the corner, and yes, there we go, up into P8, and now seeing where we can hunt down our teammate of Nico Hülkenberg. Unfortunately, Carlos Sainz is quicker than he's quicker than Danny Kvyat, so he's not going to be holding up Hülkenberg as much, and especially not that much anymore, as Nico Hülkenberg has got the job done as we cut ahead to lap 23. So we're going to have to get the job done out on track on Nico Hülkenberg. But here we go, going for the overtake on Carlos Sainz, the same position that we overtook his teammate up the inside, and maneuver is complete. Up into P7, right on the back of my teammate of Nico Hülkenberg. Can we battle with him for P6 at the end of the day? Only time will tell. As we now cut ahead to the final lap of this Singapore Grand Prix, and unfortunately we did manage to get kind of close to Nico Hülkenberg in the race, but only about 1.2 seconds. It was never really DRS territory, so there was never really that opportunity to go for the overtake, but we did actually overtake Kimi Räikkönen in today's race after he made a late pit stop going onto a set of ultra soft tyres, and now we're trying our best to keep him and Sergio Perez behind us. These two guys are very quick on their ultra softs and their super soft tyres. So here goes Kimi Räikkönen on the left hand side, right on our tail, around the outside down towards turn 7, but very late on the brakes, squeezing out the Ferrari driver. We do not want to give up this position. I feel like Nico Hülkenberg is going to be safe in finishing P5, but I want to get P5, P6 for the Renault team. I want to hold on to P6 at the end of the day, especially holding off Kimi Räikkönen. It's going to be a really big challenge, but luckily he's not able to go for the overtake down in towards the Singapore Sling. I don't feel like there's going to be many more opportunities for the Finnish driver to get the overtake done on us, but nevertheless, the race winner for the Singapore Grand Prix is Lewis Hamilton. What a fantastic result there for the British driver. He has been in a class of his own here today, so far ahead of all the other drivers. Okay, the other drivers have been held up by Esteban Ocon. Yes, that's right, Esteban Ocon currently in P2 of this Singapore Grand Prix. The other drivers have been held up by him, but still a great result for Lewis Hamilton by the fact that nobody has crossed the line. Esteban Ocon finally crossing the line for second place at the end of this Singapore Grand Prix. But can we hold on to P6? We're still holding off Kimi Räikkönen, coming round the final corner now, and it is going to be an amazing 6th position at the Singapore Grand Prix, just about holding off Kimi Räikkönen. What a result then here at the Singapore Grand Prix. P6 at the end of the day, and we are very, very happy with that. Unfortunately, we did miss out to our teammate of Nico Hülkenberg, but he was quicker than us. He was quicker than us at the end of the day, so we will take that. The one shocking result, though, Esteban Ocon, P2 at the Singapore Grand Prix. Don't know how that happened. The one-stop strategy really helped him here today, and I guess starting in P12 does have its benefits. Lewis Hamilton, though, he is the race winner here today with Esteban Ocon in second. Then we have Daniel Ricciardo in third with Sebastian Vettel fourth. And my teammate of Nico Hulkenberg, very good result of P5 here today. Myself in sixth. Kimi Räikkönen, we managed to hold him off at the end of the race. He finishes in seventh with Sergio Perez in eighth and Felipe Massa in ninth. With Kevin Magnussen rounding out the top 10. Stoffel Van Dorn just about missing out on points here today. Roman Grosjean in 11th and Carlos Sainz in 13th. Then looking further down the field in today's race, we have in 14th position Marcus Ericsson. 15th was Danny Kvyat. 16th was Fernando Alonso. Despite starting in the top 10, was unable to convert that into a points finish. Lance Stroll was the first of our DNFers, followed by Valtteri Bottas, Pascal Wehrlein and Max Verstappen, who retired very early on lap 6. Drivers' Championship then after 14 rounds of this season, and we are still ahead of Max Verstappen. Those retirements that he has had in the last couple of rounds are really helping us this season, as we're now quite a few points ahead of the Red Bull driver. But there are still 6 races left to go. We've got Malaysia, Japan, USA, Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So 6 races left to go of this season. So there is still every opportunity for Max Verstappen to come back at us. But equally, there's still every opportunity for us to catch up to Daniel Ricciardo as well. If we can get top 5 finish this season, that'll be absolutely spectacular. Finally, let's take a look at the constructors' standings after today's race. And Renault sitting comfortably in P4 at the moment, but a good result there for the Force India of Esteban Ocon means they have closed up just a little bit in the constructors' standings. But there is still a nice comfortable points lead compared to the Force India team. Unfortunately, I feel like Red Bull are now starting to get away from us. Even though we did actually catch up, I think, by a few points here today. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe we did actually catch up. Yeah, we did catch up a few points to the Red Bull team here today, but it's not really enough at the end of the day. We need to get some really strong results in the final couple of rounds if we really want to try and contend for P3 in the constructors' standings. But that is it for today's race. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content. We've got Rags to Riches free, F1 2017 career mode, and some more Formula 1 content coming to you guys by about the second week of February. Hopefully, we can start to get some of that stuff up. As always, don't forget to leave your comments in the section below. I want to know what you thought about today's race, so don't forget to let me know down there. And I will see you next time at the Malaysian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.